This is the Professor Show. You want to learn. You don't have time. Here is a solution.
Okay, how do we taste? That's a great question. First of all, what is taste? Taste is a type of chemical sensation that occurs in the mouth. Where do we taste? Throughout the mouth. The nose also contributes. When do we taste? You're probably tasting right now. Why do we taste? Well, some people say evolutionarily that bitter and sour things indicated things that were dangerous for us and maybe had bacteria in them, and that salty and sweet indicated things that had nutritional value. How do we taste? That was your question. So when you take a bite of a delicious apple, you're not just eating apple, you've got apple and saliva. The saliva is more delicious than you think because the saliva helps to break down the apple into chemical components, and the chemicals then can be sensed by these chemical receptors, chemo-receptors, that are in your mouth. Throughout the mouth you have receptors that are actually extensions of the nervous system that are exposed in that there's a little opening in what we call a bud. There are maybe as many as 10,000 taste buds throughout the mouth, not just on the tongue, but predominantly there. And each bud has maybe 50 to 100 taste cells in it. What it does sends a signal to the brain, and there are 5 different types. They can pick up on salty, sweet, bitter, sour, and something called umami, or savory. Now umami is a Japanese word because the Japanese found it first and planted their flag. There are Japanese flags on your tongue. So taste then is a type of chemical sensation that then requires that there are bonds between chemicals to actual elements in your tongue that then has to be metabolized. You can say it becomes a part of you in ways that other sensations don't. These buds, in Latin you might call them papillae, when if you translate that into English you might call it bud. They're sort of like a bud of a flower that has an opening at the top exposed to the elements so the chemical can get in there, then travel down one of 3 pathways in the facial nerve to the brain. It goes down depending on where in the mouth it goes to the brainstem and then to the brain, and up in the brain reaches regions of the brain where olfactory, the nose, smell gets combined with it, and smell and taste together are part of the gustatory system, gustation. Now there, also interestingly, these regions where they converge, such as the anterior insula and the anterior cingulate and the amygdala, now these are regions that are important in emotions. You may wonder though, how can we taste so many different things? There are only 5 different kinds of sensors. These 5 different combinations though can get combined in the brain with the smell, which can distinguish between hundreds of qualities of chemicals and provide subtlety. So how do we taste? Taste is chemical sensation of elements that we put in our mouth, distinguish between foods and signal the brain that there are different kinds of flavors we experience.